everyone to the Inside Loop. I'm Andreas Matson here in Cincinnati at our dotloop headquarters. This week, we've been talking about the relocation process. In 2017, 20% of Americans relocated for a job. That's 65 million people. That's a pretty big number, and I want to make sure we're doing everything we can to help you win that business. We all know the relocation process can be a stressful one for our buyers. And there's a few things that we want to cover. Number one is really the ability to anticipate their needs. What are we doing before they're our clients to let them know that we're going to provide an experience that is an easy one, a smooth one for the relocation. And of course, number two is being seen. Let's be everywhere, online, offline. Let's make sure they see our face. And the third point is being that neighborhood expert. And what's important there is, of course, knowing where the parks are, knowing where the restaurants are. But also, what are we doing to partner with businesses there? What are we doing for them? If we're helping them build their business, of course they're going to help us do the same for ours. So to our first point in anticipating their needs, what we want to touch on is not when they're already your client and anticipating their next steps, but how do we anticipate their needs or their wants as they're looking for an agent, as they're starting to look in your neighborhood. I think a key point that a lot of agents miss out on is on your website, on Zillow, on Trulia, your online presence, in your description, do you ever put that the entire transaction, the entire experience can be virtual, can be digital from their cell phone? So as they're relocating, they're stressed about their new job, they don't have to print forms out, scan forms, do anything, but simply have their phone on them, which they already do. They see a text from you. There's the contract, there's an updated form, they click to sign, and they're back to work. They're back focusing on their family and their big move. Digging in now to the second point, making sure that we're doing everything we can to have every relocation buyer find us. Where do we need to be? We know we have to be online, but where online? Let's think about if we're in that position today. Where would I start my process? Where am I going to go? Oftentimes, it's going to go to the Zillows and Trulias of the world. And that's where they're going to look. That's where they're going to have that search. They don't have referrals in that particular market. They're not even quite sure what neighborhoods are the right neighborhoods. So oftentimes it's going to start at Zillow, but then quickly they're going to generate interest in finding who is that person? What relationship can I build that I start to get a sense and comfortability about what neighborhood is right for me? We have to make sure we're where the relocation buyers are. And we know that those leads and those opportunities oftentimes come from Zillow, Trulia, and other sites. So now that they found us, how do we look like and how do we become that neighborhood expert? There's a few key things that we should be doing. We've talked about it a lot on the Inside Loop here, and that's video content. You could go around and do fun videos. If you have a town square, maybe do a video showing the park in the middle and all the restaurants surrounding it and telling a quick story about what makes that neighborhood special. Boom, post that video. That neighborhood's set. Go into a different neighborhood. Take a short video. Tell a quick piece about what makes it special. Also, think about interviews. You could even interview people around your neighborhood. Because guess what? They could be your next client anyways. But also, they're going to tell the story, not just you, showing the kind of relationships that you're building locally, but also telling that story that's going to help that relocation buyer find what they want. And one last point. Becoming that neighborhood expert also means becoming the resource for our neighborhood and making sure we have partnerships and relationships with as many companies as possible. So we understand their business and their needs, but also how we can help. So it's always on their mind when they find that next person for their job, they're going to need that agent to help them. And that's got to be you. Let's make sure we're thinking about these things as we look to attract, but also help buyers in the relocation process. Think about highlighting how paperless we are, that the entire transaction process can happen in two completely different locations, and you are their eyes and ears locally. And make sure you could be seen and found everywhere. And third point, make sure we are that neighborhood expert and build and build and build and build on those relationships that you have and are going to get tomorrow.